Oh, great American killer fight. Coming at you.
Prayers installed, and before we all went piling out. All you gotta do is block that guy. Your job ain't that hard. So just don't make it hard. That's fair, Coach. I got you.
Now, from Suite 11 at Louisiana Downs Casino and Racetrack in some basement in rural Central Florida, it's the Jumpin' Offsides Podcast Network. Here's your host, Chance, JD, and Mike.
Morning, sports fans. We're back. Episode 51, the Brandon Spikes episode of Jumpin' Offsides. You got our favorite man of the hour, JD, our soon player to be named later, Chance Extravagance. He's been working out hard this morning, ladies and gentlemen. He's pumping that iron. He's getting his body ready for the big, end of the year push. And then yours truly. I got a new studio I'm working with here, so hope you like the lovely swamp. And I think we had a victory on that game, maybe, but could have been the kickoff too. I don't know, because we hadn't had too many this year. But we got a lot to talk about, and I want to start it off with it's Friday Night Lights football. It's playoff time. Unfortunately, the Seffner Christian Crusaders got knocked out in the first round. We didn't play our best, and I would say more likely we didn't really coach our best, because I'm a big believer that the Jimmies and the Joes win the game and the coaches lose the game. So unfortunately, we didn't do great for our team. Santa Fe Alachua, coached by the Gator great Ernest Graham, had a tough one last night here in the Pinellas County area. They went into Calvary Christian. It's a great back and forth. Heard about we're on Saturday morning studio, so you're gonna have to put up with it a little bit. But Ernest Graham, Cooper Carlisle, their O-line coach, they came into the Thunderdome, as they call it in Calvary, and it was a great high school game. I mean, talk about back and forth. Score here, score there. It was 14-13 at half. Santa Fe came out, went up 20-14. Calvary came back, ran it up, and they were up 23-20. Then Santa Fe went up 30-23, and at the end of the game, Calvary punched it in. They won 34-30. So Ernest Graham and the Santa Fe Raiders had a tough one, but it was a great high school game. Armwood High School doing what they do in the first couple rounds of the playoffs, just steamrolling people. So it's been some fun Friday Night Lights around here. What about you boys up in the greater Louisiana area?
Wasn't friend of the show, Zach Zadelis, wasn't that his alma mater, Santa Fe?
That is Zach's alma mater. They've got some really good skill players. They've got some dynamic. Their tailback pal's a good tough runner. Reminds me a little bit of Ernest. They had a couple really good skill guys. They've got a really quick kind of scat guy, number 4. I can't remember his name, but he was awesome. Defense played tough. They just don't have real big O linemen like they did back in Zadelis and Wiley Rich and some of those guys who won some state championships for the Santa Fe Alachua Raiders. But they're on the rise. I can tell. You can tell. Ernest, this is his first year. They've done a good job. You can tell. It never fails when you get a guy who's a good leader like Ernest is, that he can quickly get things heading in the right direction.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was fun to see him. It was fun to see him before the game. I think it's the first time in my life I've ever seen Ernest kind of, I don't want to say nervous, because that might not be fair to him, but Ernest is pretty, cool, calm, and collected. And right before the game, he gave me a hug, and he's usually pretty talkative, but he was like, all right, I got to go. And it was kind of, I looked at his wife and I said, did he get ramped up for games? She's like, oh yeah. She's like, he is a different animal when he's got that coaching hat on. So it was just really cool to see him, and he's doing a great job, and can't wait to see that program just take off like a rocket ship.
That's cool. We had a lot of last night. We had some big games. We had a crosstown rivalry there. The Acadiana Wrecking Rams beat the Karen Kirkcrow Golden Bears 29-21. That's always a big rivalry in South Louisiana, and to play in the first round of the playoffs was a big thing for that area. So up here local, we had Homer squeaked one out by 1 point, which will set up a rematch with the in parish school Haynesville Golden Tornado. So we'll have
Mm.
that game next week. That'll be a good one. Haynesville won it pretty handily during the regular season. Had a lot of games that went north and south, but we also had a lot of regional matchups, and Ouachita pulled out a big win against St. Amant, 24-21. But other than that, I mean, we had quite a few games, but a lot of the bigger teams, the teams that are ranked up a lot higher, they had buys. So, Mike, I don't know if they did this for y'all, but in
I don't
Louisiana a
know. We
couple of
don't.
years ago,
Do y'all get first round buys?
yeah. So a couple of years
Okay.
ago, so back when your boy Berlin played here in the state, public school and private schools kind of played together
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, unless you were in a different league for the Louisiana High School Athletic Association. Well, a few years ago, they split it all up, and they took the schools that they call select, which are private schools and open enrollment schools, and they can play in the same district. But once they get to the playoffs, they have two totally separate playoff systems.
Okay. I remember
So
Brock telling me that. Yeah.
instead of having 5 state championships, you actually have 8.
Yeah.
So they kind of split it off, and they're it's sooner or later. I think they're going to have to add like an 8-man football league for a lot of the smaller schools, and I think some of those would actually move over. But for now, they're not doing that. So
Yeah. Florida's done some unique. I mean, they've tried that a little bit because for a few years they did what we called rural and then
mhm,
metro. And then those kind of teams like basically all played each other, if you will, in the playoffs. And then like when I was in school, it was 1A through 5A,
mhm,
and like Armwood was 5A. And then when my wife and I graduated, we dropped to 3A somehow, even though the enrollment went up and it was weird. And then we went to 4A. Now it's 2A through 8A. There is no more 1A. And so anyway, they've tried to do all these different wrinkles. And now, to your point, whereas some of these smaller schools like us, there's a new division called the SSAA, so Sunshine State, I think, Athletic Association, because schools like Sefner and Cambridge Christian and Northside, some of these schools that good schools, but just kind of getting thrown to the wolves with these Jesuits and Carrollwood Days and things like that. They went to more, I'll say, small school 1A football, if you will. And so it's been helpful from that regard. And it's been fun. I mean, you know, playoff football is always a good time of year. Watching the kids, try to ramp it up. And you naturally just, you try to train them, or you try to get them in that mode of every game is the same and the efforts should always be the same. But playoffs are always, more intense, matter more, obviously one and dones, and emotions are high. And, you always hate it for the seniors and the ones that they know this is the last time they'll strap it up. And, for a guy that got to play afterwards, I can vividly remember, my last high school game. We played at East Bay High School, just south of here in kind of Apollo Beach area. Remembered the feeling of, man, I'm never going to be able to play with these guys and never be able to, sing the Armwood Fight song, as a player anymore. And, it's just always fun to kind of take your mind and your head and your memories back to those moments of your life, and
yeah,
friends that you still have now and people you still hang out with, and having kids the same age and seeing them go through their, different walks of life. And me, for next year when Mitchell, my middle guy, he'll be a senior, and we hope we get to play at the next level, but we'll see. But I mean, it's going to be a special time, and Friday Night Lights are always special to, I think, all three of us, because we all played and we all still love it, and still pull for our local high schools, and even people that we didn't pull for as kids, and now we pull for them as adults.
Yeah. We were fortunate enough, me and Chance, to our last game was in the state championship game, and granted we got whipped, but it's still, it was a memorable experience, nonetheless. So it's hard when you go that far, and you get beat in the final game.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, it
We're all
brings
in
back
the
a lot of,
Superdome.
yeah. No, we
Yeah.
didn't play in the Superdome. We played
Okay.
actually in Mississippi. It's where our
Okay.
state championship
Oh,
game
okay.
was held.
Okay. Yep.
But no, it was still, you get to play, and you think about all these other teams and how, especially when it relates to college football, how when you lose, it's like, man, like you were right there, and it's like I heard somebody talking the other day, and I can't remember. It might have been somebody you were referring to, Mike, and it was the chief was talking about. It's like every year the stories get bigger and better. When
Mm-hmm.
you talk to your guys, it's like
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that, but yeah,
Yeah, you remember
it's
that last
still
game? I rushed for
yeah.
900 yards. You remember that? No, I don't. I don't
Yeah.
think you did, Chief. But
Yeah.
no, I don't. I don't even think you actually made the field. Yeah, I did. You just don't remember. You got CTE.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about, and I know we haven't really spoke a lot about it. We've met a few times. We've all had lots of different things going on, so our podcast has been kind of hit and miss the last few weeks. Let's talk a little bit about our coaching situation, guys.
Woo, woo.
We have
Hey,
we
Chance,
have
if you and I had made JD, if we would have, what is it? If we would have pinned him to the cross, and we can bring the video up, but I'll just throw out
we
a date
can.
of, I'll just
It's
say
there.
August 31st, whatever the season kickoff was.
Yeah.
And this sucker that's wearing this pretty, JD, kind of bring your head down so people can see that hat, because that hat is pretty sharp.
Hovey Dry Good. Thank you for the hat.
Well, no, I'm not going to thank Hovey Dry Good because they don't have any Florida Gator gear. So forget Hovey Dry Good. I hope they fail. I'm kidding, but that's a sharp hat. But Chance, and you correct me if I'm wrong, and please chime in. You and I had a discussion that there was people on hot seats and coaching staffs and things that could transpire, and it all depends on kind of, hey, at the end of the day, how these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids end up performing is basically the lifeblood, and makes it, hey, does your coach make it or not? We knew our guy was going to be on a tough road, even though he kind of finished up the previous year in a good spot. But we openly said, hey, by midpoint of the season, if we're not who we think we could be, we're probably going to be looking for a new head coach again, unfortunately. Now, the guy on the other end of this conversation wearing the purple and gold, I think he said, give me a stack of Bibles. He said, write a check and put it blank. He said a lot of
Judge
things,
me by
Chance,
year
but
3 is what he said, actually. Judge me by year 3 is what he
who?
said.
No,
Brian
no, no. I'm
Kelly.
talking about
We're
what
Oh,
talking
you
about
said, partner.
you.
You said. I think he even said, hey, I'll roll up 2 rocks
why
and throw
y'all
it
want
through
to
the
bring
pay
up old
window.
shit?
As our good friend
And
Mike Hayes would say,
yeah.
you
Well,
said. And
so
one thing I remember, Mike, the biggest thing, and I know JD, so I knew that there was no way in the world that this would happen if things went south. But I remember him sitting right beside me in studio saying, ha, if we don't make the playoffs, it's still fine. He's not going anywhere.
he ain't going
We're
nowhere.
still okay. We're still okay. And I said, JD, okay. Well, I don't believe that because I know John David and how riled up he gets anyway. I mean, I've gotten some phone calls after games and we've seen some Ring doorbell cameras.
Chance, I was just fixing up. We are going to get that Ring doorbell. That might start being the opening intro
It
for
might be.
Jumpin.
I love it. I
I
love it.
mean, because one, it just shows how passionate JD is about those sorry Tigers. And it just means, that old, I think it was either like the LPGA tour or something. It just means more. Maybe the
Yeah.
SEC did it
SEC.
one year
That's the
too.
SEC.
I know, I'm kidding, but it just
It
means
just
more to
means more.
JD. Yeah.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
look,
So JD, just as
I'm
we
I'm
just
gonna I'm gonna
wrap up our
I'm
take.
gonna do like I'm gonna do like Uncle Si. Hey, now, hey,
Listen, I want to
now
hear
look.
kind of where you are at mentally, and then how you were so terribly misspoken on your
Okay,
assessment of the LSU
well,
Tigers.
I don't think I'm the only one that was had a terrible take. I mean, I really did not anticipate.
Well, on this Jumping Off Sides podcast, you're the only one. So
Well, what I'm saying is I didn't anticipate us having such a terrible season as we did.
yeah,
Like, how do you go? Which, granted, Clint, is Chance in the car wash?
he's
Okay.
probably wrapping up his steam shower or something.
Anyway, when you go to Clemson first game, you don't look great, but you look pretty good, and you think, man, this is we're ahead of where we thought we would be, because I didn't think going into the season that it was going to be where it's at now, and I don't think anybody did for that matter.
Sure.
Now, granted, I think that there's a lot of money around Louisiana, Baton Rouge, LSU in general. There's people with big money. There's no doubt about it. But I felt like the contract was a little hindrance. And mainly looking back on the Coach O situation and how it ended, and I just felt like from a program standpoint, they brought Kelly in to stabilize it more than anything. And when you look at it from that standpoint, you're like, look, okay, he had to rebuild a complete roster. Took him 2 years. The NIL and all that stuff came in. We got some really good players like with Jaden Daniels and some of those guys. Two, basically first round tackles, that went to the league last year. I mean, you've built a pretty solid foundation that you could build off of. And
And quick,
when
just
you,
one quick question: Was his first year the first year of NIL? Because I can't remember.
yes, it
Okay,
was the
okay,
first year of. I think that was the year Jaden Daniels transferred from
from
Arizona State.
Arizona.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that would have been his
Okay.
first year. So, I think that there was a lot of unknowns there, and to me, also building a program now is completely different than what it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
so, I think from looking at it from that standpoint and how the last 2 years of I mean, we were competitive, but we lost some games we shouldn't have. We had a lot of injuries. Our defensive line depth was just not there. There were some things, we had some misses on some coordinators, and I like Coach O. I wish that he could have made it work, because he's Louisiana through and through.
Hmm.
And I hated to see him go, but I think it was also time because he had gone through a divorce. He had been at the pinnacle of the sport, and it just seemed like he was checked out. And from all reports, you know, and I guess that there was a lot of people that were holding their tongue about what Kelly was doing, so you really didn't get a lot of info. But now, you find out that the guys played 400 rounds of golf in the last 3 years. I mean, it's not showing up to game day till noon at a 6 o'clock game or 2 o'clock or whatever he was doing, and all the nefarious activities that he had, that could
So here,
potentially change how he gets paid in his buyout, and I mean, I don't think from my standpoint, I looked at it as, I just didn't feel like there was any way they would get rid of him unless it was just a complete failure. And I didn't see it being a complete failure, especially after we go to Clemson and do what we did.
yeah.
And then when the wheels start coming off after Ole Miss, it's like, oh shit! Like the wheels aren't even on the bus. They, we're riding on skids at this point, and it went downhill in a hurry.
I think from my perspective, it's always egos are usually the biggest factor, and it seems like him and Woodward and whoever else just basically told each other, you know, F you, screw you, all this stuff, and that's just how
Yeah,
it is, and the coaching dynamic. I mean, you got a lot of type A, ego-driven people. The one question I was curious of, or I guess perplexed by, and I think Coach O said it on a few of his interviews, is as Coach Kelly never embraced like the people of Louisiana. Uh, Can you talk to that, or just like I think sometimes that's unfair because what else
Well,
does a coach have to do to quote embrace the people of Louisiana? And I get it. His
okay.
first thing on the court when he tried to do the fake accent. I don't know
I
if he
think,
necessarily tried to do a fake accent. He just I, I think the fake accent thing got overblown, but I'm curious,
well,
what was the whole thing? He didn't embrace the people of Louisiana. What was that about?
let me let me take it back. Okay, so and me and a friend of mine were talking about this the other day. You know, when LSU hired Nick Saban in 2000, we had come off of Jerry DiNardo's years where we had some good years. You know, they beat Florida and they were ranked number one, but then they had a few years there where it was just like, man, we just can't get over that hump. And so when we hired Saban, everybody was like, man, he was on the hot seat at Michigan State this year. Like, what are we doing? We're playing them in a bowl game. Like, what are we hiring this guy for? I mean, who is he basically? He's done nothing where he's at. And, it was one of those things where you're just sitting there and you're kind of like, well, you're confused about it. But what Nick Saban did when he got here, and this is honest truth, he went to every single high school in the state of Louisiana within the first couple months he was here. He went to every one of them. I'm telling you, he didn't miss one, and told them, "Look, I want we're going to lock this state down. Here's what my plan is," and he laid it all out for them. And that's what they mean by more or less embracing the people of the state. Kelly didn't
Okay.
do any of that. Kelly came in and he thought LSU was ready to win a national championship. All he had to do was right the ship. And
Hmm.
basically, he didn't put the work in the effort that it takes to be able to win one. It's a lot of work and a lot of effort, and he just thought it was going to fall in his lap because he was coaching
Okay.
at a place where he could get more talent than he got at Notre Dame, and easier to get because you're closer. You're not having to fly across the country. And I don't think that from that standpoint he ever really embraced the state. And I think that's what people mean by that is he didn't go out and put the work that it took to be able to understand the people, understand the culture, because there's different cultures. South Louisiana is different than New Orleans.
Sure. Sure.
New Orleans and South Louisiana are different from North Louisiana. It's a whole different deal. We've got Air Force bases with people all over the country that live here. So it's just a different dynamic that don't think he really understood.
Well, I
So
think too, I guess just from my not well an experience as a high school coach and as a dad with a young man that's hoping to maybe play at the next level, and then take it way back to when I was getting recruited. The only thing I would say in defense of Coach Kelly is recruiting now is so much less of a, I'll say, in person, having to go kind of knock on the doors, bring the LSU hat to the coaches, only because the NIL factor has changed a big dynamic of now, like people like LSU and Florida, fill in the Power Four type people. The coaches are less and less and less involved until, unfortunately, from what I can understand and what I know of it, until like the money is like is worked out. And I'm trying to defend Coach Kelly of saying him not embracing the people, which I don't disagree. Like, hey, you got to be out there, and you can't show up on just on Saturday. But in his defense, so from what I know, like, you're not even getting past like the first layer of recruiting with a big time recruit, which is LSU. I mean, they're the upper echelon of college football, so they're only going to focus on these, let's say, 40 kids, whatever. But of those 40 kids, from what I understand, like, Brian Kelly and the staff don't even really start talking to them until the money people have figured out, well, hey, if you're going to talk to JD Lyles, it's going to be a million guys, and if that's not what you're doing, then don't bother. So I think that has to kind of be ironed out too. And I say in defense of the opposite side of, hey, he didn't embrace it, is like, well, guys, we're in a such different dynamic of how we embrace our high school kids now. And unfortunately, it ain't going away. And these programs like us and you guys and, you know, all of them. I mean, we when you talked earlier about how LSU wheels kind of fell off. I think this year there has been a ton of imposters that started off preseason favorites. I mean, you look at
Right. Yeah.
Penn State, Clemson. I mean, Texas seems like they're kind of getting their feet back under them because now Arch has gotten playing time. I mean, I think
Hmm.
unfortunately and unfairly for him, I mean, the kid played mop-up stuff last year, hadn't had a ton of reps really since high school. So it takes a while, you know, you got to kind of get back in the groove. But just in general, I think if we were to, I don't remember everyone, but if we were to pull up the top 10 on August 31st and the top 10 now, there was a ton of imposters to start this year off. And I don't think LSU was an imposter. I just think the two things I think you guys, not you in particular, JD, but just LSU, you
Yeah.
really glossed over the fact of how young that offensive line was. And that's, I think, been your Achilles heel. Is because just for some
Yeah.
reason they can't protect you, because obviously Nussmeier is I think a top tier quarterback. I mean, you don't. I mean, he's one of the best of the SEC last year, and he had a really good offensive line. So I think it's
Yeah.
unfortunate for him. His last year, he's playing behind some freshman guys that are learning on the fly. And I think too, just kind of your defense hasn't made as many plays as the defense that we knew in the past. I'm not saying they're not playing well because they are. I just think there's
Well, I agree with you, and I think it's when the defense is on the field the whole game for 3 games in a row,
sure,
and then the offense is not doing anything. Like I think that there's a psyche involved with all that, and I mean I
oh
would
yeah,
love to be able to understand it and study it because it does do something to these kids. Whether they don't put that little extra gear that they got, the little extra effort in, or if it's like, well, I mean, we're going out here for nothing. I mean, we ain't going to score anyway. I don't know. I would love to be able to understand it more from a psychological perspective, but I do think that the defense has not been as good as we talk about a lot of times. I don't think that they've given up a ton of yards. Um, just like coming out in the second half against A&M. I mean, A&M was able to do whatever they wanted to with us, and we have had some injuries. We had basically 3 defensive line starters that are out. Um, we got a starting linebacker out. We've had some key injuries, but as you well know, so is Florida, and you've got to have people that step in and
mhm.
know the position and it's next man up, and I just don't understand how from like Nussmeier's perspective, he's played bad. There's no question about it. He's not going through his reads like he did last year. Whether
We
that
don't have
the
time.
line
You know, he's
affected
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and he's not starting today. They
Oh
said he
wow,
re-injured his abdomen in practice this week, and actually Thursday. And so Michael Van Buren's going to be starting against Arkansas. And Van Buren came in against Alabama and did some really good things. He was able to move the pocket. He stepped up in the pocket. He threw the ball. He was able to run a little bit, but he also made some mistakes. He fumbled, and cost us, during the game. And, I don't know. It's just a whole, it's hard to understand how it went the way it did. I'll be completely honest, and I mean, Mike, me and you thought Florida was going to be 9-3,
oh yeah. No,
and
I think like I said, imposters, and I think too to your point, or next man up. Roll it back 5 or 10 years. You know, programs like you guys, us, Alabama, like you don't have those 2 and 3 deep five
no,
stars
that's true.
anymore. Like your first line is your 5 stars, and then you're basically cobbling together, you know, good kids and good talent, but they're just not like we used to remember. I mean, when your backup for a squad ends up being a second round pick a year later and he played
Yeah,
6 games. I mean, that's
yeah,
the type of teams we all used to have because they weren't getting paid. And I don't want to beat up the NIL. It is here. It's staying. It's not going. But my point is that loading up your second and third
roster.
teams is not going to be a part of the equation any longer because kids can go and shine in other programs. and get to the NFL, and along the way get paid pretty handsomely while doing it. So,
Yeah.
they're just not going to have the depth that we used to really, you know, have as a bedrock of our programs, which I think
Yeah.
is the way that coaches are going to have to evolve and understand, like, hey, if my guy goes down, what am I going to do next? Like, case in point for, let's say with us, which I don't want to keep beating up DJ, but I just don't think he's the guy. But like getting Trammell going, because the Kentucky game is a perfect example of
Hmm.
that young guy got thrust in there real quickly. He's going up against a pretty good defensive mind and Stoops. Made a couple of good throws and things of kind of, hey, I like the way this guy's operating. But if we don't have a solid number two, and I'm not saying he's not gonna be or he couldn't be a solid number one, we just have to realize, like, maybe that's why you want a fourth or fifth year guy from the transfer portal that you may overpay. And I just keep saying it's very similar to NFL rosters.
Yeah.
Every team has a pretty good backup QB on their roster for a reason.
Yeah.
There's why, they pay a guy $5, $6, $7 million to be the backup. Because if that number one guy goes down, you've got to have somebody that can still keep maybe not as
Keep the
maybe
train
not as
rolling.
dynamic, or maybe he's a different element. But overall, and I think, the positions where you cannot miss a beat at is QB and the offensive defensive line. That's
Yeah.
just where I think you spend all your money there. Hopefully you develop the other spots. Hopefully you get some transfers in, for their last year and embrace it. I think Clemson would probably be the the first program you would want to look at and say, hey, they drew a line in the sand, they buried their head in the sand, however you want to look at it,
Yeah.
and they're
And
now
look at where they
granted,
are.
we're all Monday morning quarterback and Dabo and kind of how he's done things, but I do think you can see a difference between a Dabo mindset, and I'm going to say it first time on the show today, of a Lane Kiffin mindset. And boy, I hope Lane Kiffin's going to be wearing this pretty orange and blue. I've not gonna get off the rocker on all of our insider info and our this stuff, but I think he'd look tremendous in orange and blue. I think he looks terrible in that baby blue and red personally, but now as we segue to that, we've said who we'd love, and everybody knows who the Gator wants. Who does LSU want? And I know Nick Saban is out there, and I would 100% say y'all should be offering that guy whatever he wants to come back.
Man,
Would you do the same?
I would. I mean, the thing about it is, he's not going to get this opportunity again, and he didn't have the opportunity when he left Miami because he wanted to come back and couldn't, and so he ended up, they put him at Bama, and the rest is history. But I would take him back in a heartbeat because I think that he understands the game and he teaches the game better than most anybody that there's ever been. I think that he knows the state. He understands, the not just the politics surrounding LSU, but he understands, everything that LSU needs to become successful. And he set it up on a path in the early 2000s that we were able to continue all the way up until basically Brian Kelly got here and the NIL era started. And I think that that changed his model a little bit. So he had to kind of step back and see, like, okay, what are we doing? Like, how are they doing this? It was a change in, like, for him, especially, not stockpiling 5-star recruits. I mean, that that's affected Alabama the last couple of years for sure. But I would take him. I would take him back in a heartbeat. And if it was me, I would just give him a blank check and say, hey, come fix it. Set it up. We'll give you 4 to 5 years, and then you get to name your successor. Like, we're not even going to do a search. Like, you
Yeah.
pick the next coach. If you want to be the athletic director, you can be the athletic director. Like, ride off in the sunset, whatever you want to do. Like, come home and fix it,
Has there? I
But
mean, Chance, I don't know if you know either, but I've just been trying to rack my brain. Has there ever been a coach that's done a 2.0 again at the same school? I'm trying to think through my head. The only guy that I could kind of think of way back was maybe John Robinson with USC, but that's a total guess. I don't even know if that's correct or not. But has there ever been a
Bill
coach
Walsh
that?
did it at Stanford,
Okay,
but I mean, he wasn't winning. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
Not like this would be, but Bill
But I'm
Walsh is the one that I think about.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like somebody who won a boatload, conference championships, natties, and then went somewhere and came back? I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't recall of any. But to your point, JD, I think if anybody can and would be successful would be Coach Saban. And I think if like, hey, Mike, JD, Chance, how would you do it? I would say, guys, let's give them a 3-year contract for 20 million a year. There is like in baseball or whatever, it's a zero trade clause or like, hey, we cannot fire you. No, like,
Yeah.
which I don't
Yeah.
think maybe the governor of Louisiana would go for that after his press conference a few weeks back. But I
Well,
think like, hey, no fire clause, and then you decide, Coach Saban, after year 3, do you want to move into the front office as our GM? Do you want to stay coaching? How do you want to, maneuver the chess pieces around? Because
I don't want to
how old is he right now? Is he 74?
74.
So I
74.
mean,
Yeah.
he's going to be close to 80, if you will, by the
Yeah.
time you guys are back to, being a bag of hammers again. And not saying he can't do a good job as an 80-year-old guy, but I mean, 80
Yeah.
years old is
Well,
is is not a
I
spring
think you got to
chicken.
start. I think you got to start there, and just to back up a little bit, like we did earlier. I don't want to delve off into the politics of everything, but I do know that LSU has kind of had a good old boy system for a long time, and when Saban got there, they'd kind of done away with all that, and that was part of the revamping of things with the athletic director, with the president of the university, the governor, changed, and there were so many different things that changed around it, and I think that from the standpoint of now, there's a lot of that going on down there. There's been a lot of the good old boy, thing, and they're trying to get away from all that again. And I think that's one of the reasons why Woodward got let go. Scott Woodward started in politics. That was his career before he went into athletic administration. And, he is basically a disciple of James Carville, if that tells you anything.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I
Well,
think that, they
I think Chance and
there's a
James are good buddies, aren't
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a sense down there that things needed to change, from top to bottom for certain reasons. There's a lot of cultural decisions that have been made that they weren't really okay with, and a lot of people and they're wanting more of a Louisiana is different. Like it's weird. We'll vote for a governor that's more in the center, but then on the presidential election, we'll vote for somebody that's more right. It's just it's a weird dynamic. I can't explain it, but there's just a lot of that going on down there, and I think there's the change. I don't necessarily disagree with the change that they've had. I just think that maybe they could have gone about it a little bit differently from a PR perspective, and
Well, who's
so
the new guy who's the AD now? I know he's a former linebacker, but
so
what, like, is
yeah,
he going to be a
Virgil.
long-term guy, or is that just more of a knee-jerk, like, hey, you're
No, I think
interim, all
that
of a sudden now you're full-time? Where's the story with
well,
that? And
Verge Osbury was in the running for the athletic director spot whenever they let go of oh crap, I'm drawing a blank. Everybody hated him because of what he did to Will Wade. I'm completely drawing a blank here, and I don't know
help him
why.
out,
But
Chance. Quit doing push-ups and
um,
help him out.
Well, shit, I don't know. We'll keep up with that down
what
here.
what are you doing over there with your screen
D-
black?
does it start? His last name start with a DJD?
Hang on, Joe Oliva. That's what I'm thinking about.
Mm.
Joe Oliva was at Duke, and he got hired here, and he did he wasn't great, but he made some decent hires. I mean, basketball, and he's the one that brought Coach O in. And I can promise you that if Scott Woodward's the athletic director, Ed Ogeron is never the coach of LSU, and we probably never have the 2019 championship season. So you
Did
take it with a grain
he
of
hire
salt.
Saban or no?
No,
No.
so actually, the chancellor at the time hired Saban because they were in
Okay.
between Joe
ADs.
Dean and Skip Bertman as athletic director, I think, and maybe Joe Dean had something to do with it, maybe not. But
Was Skip
Mark
Bertman
Emmert,
the baseball coach or no?
yes, he was a
Okay.
baseball coach. When he
I
retired, he became the athletic director.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he was very instrumental in the Saban deal, but also I think the chancellor at the time was Mark Emmert, which he runs the NCAA now,
Oh,
and he's
he's
over all of that. And so he
good
left
dude.
here and went to Washington, and he went to the University of Washington, and then of course that's what he's doing now. But he was he was very instrumental in getting Nick
Well,
Saban to Baton Rouge.
I guess he can do something right if he hired Saban.
Yeah.
Everything else he does is wrong, but
But to the point you were saying earlier, like if it's not Saban, it's got to be somebody that's willing to really work, And I think you need a young, energetic guy that's looking to get to the pinnacle of the sport, not necessarily that knows how to, but he's striving to do that. And me personally, if it's not Nick Saban, and y'all might call me crazy, but I wouldn't mind having Eli Drinkwitz, from Missouri. What he's been
us
able to
too.
do there. What Drink has been able to do at Missouri, and he's peculiar. He's a little different, but he's
Yep.
building something up there that you don't just build anywhere,
Right.
and it seems to me like his work ethic is on par with what you would need to be successful.
Yeah.
And I think you need somebody like that.
No, I mean, we're obviously if if our prayers are not answered by the man upstairs for Lane, I mean, Drink is a guy I think that we're all going to go after. Um,
Yeah.
I, I just don't know kind of on both programs. If y'all don't get Saban and we don't get Lane, as the poor guy who comes in that ends up being the guy, like
Yeah.
is he already a lame duck guy that
Yeah. Dead
hey
man walking.
yeah, like I just think and again it's what sports are about. It's kind of the reason we have 10,000 followers on this program, and
Yeah.
I'm winking a little bit sarcastically, but
20,000.
yeah.
What's your
Major, come
feelings
here,
over
bud.
there,
Come
Extravagant?
here.
You're not saying
Major,
much.
make a big look at this guy. He's going to be a future left tackle of the
Major.
Gators.
Let me see it. Let me see it, Major. Let me see it.
Right
Get
over
here.
left,
He's not.
baby.
Yeah, Chance, what's your the coaching carousel? Because obviously it ain't just, oh my good Lord, my son just jumped in the pool and that pool water might be 60 degrees. So anyway,
Oh
sorry.
yeah, that's fun.
Go plunge.
You've got some pretty high profile jobs all over the country. So Chance, if you're the coaching who's the group that Florida hired? I'm trying to think. Whoever we hired to be the coaching search. If you're running that, who are you running it for, and who are you looking at?
Well, obviously Lane, number one. Give him whatever you feel like he has to have. Um, I I don't know. I mean, you just make runs at all the big ones that are viable that you would want. I don't know. I'm so confused now with everything and all the jobs that are going to come open, the jobs that are open, even the ones that aren't that you think you could poach. But I mean, I feel like there's a strong possibility for Lane in Gainesville, based off what we've heard and kind of the feel. But I don't know. I don't even know. But I'm just aggravated with all of it.
Because who were all the guys that got locked up? So I know obviously Indiana locked up Siggs,
Right,
SMU locked up Lachey, right?
Brett
Actually,
Lashley.
Lashley. Tulane's guy's still kind of a hot buzz guy, right? As far as
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
the Georgia Tech guy, apparently the Florida Gator jet was in Atlanta, which I don't want to talk. I just look. Hey, give somebody
Yeah,
a chance. I guess you got to turn over every stone, but man, I just don't. I don't see him being a fit. I just don't see him being the type of guy we would be happy with. Um,
yeah.
but hey, if we win games, then so be it.
I'm
I
gonna,
think
I'm gonna throw a name at you. What would be wrong with Cade Bell other than he does not have head coaching experience?
I, I think that's it's a great question, but I think it's unfairly one of those deals with certain programs. I don't want anybody learning on the job on my, the one of the best analogies I've ever heard in my past is, when you're going to try to convince a new client to come over and do business with you and you've never done business in that industry or that arena. An old boy looked at me and said, "Buddy, I ain't gonna let you learn to shave on my face." And I just
Right.
think I just don't want a guy who probably, and it's unfortunate. It's the kind of world we live
Well,
in
what
now
about
where,
Kerwin then?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, uh, Kerwin would be on the short list, but he's probably on the lower end of the short list, just mainly because
He's lost a lot of games where he is.
not necessarily the loss. It's just he's never been at these kind of huge programs. I mean, it's just I think nowadays bringing in a guy to learn on the fly, I just I don't see it.
Well,
I don't see it happening
what?
because Sunbelt Billy, I think
Yeah, he
couldn't
cursed us
couldn't do.
all.
Well, I just think in general, like we have to be. I mean, Brian Kelly obviously came from a huge program to a huge program, and things were going the right way. Unfortunately, this year, just I think more of an ego thing kind of derailed that. If I'm being honest and objective from my opinion, I don't think it was necessarily his coaching performance per se. I think they just got in some room and started hollering at each other, and it was
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Yeah.
That so it just that
What
whole
about
thing just seemed very odd. But yeah, I think the D
what
the
about
D coordinators and offensive coordinators that were moving up the ranks are going to have to go somewhere other than Florida.
what about Jedediah Fish?
His name keeps coming up. You know, I think he's been at big programs. He's at a big one now. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be a very good candidate. I would say, unfortunately for him, he's not going to be the one we want. So just like we just said, is he going to be the kind
Another
of,
Dan Mullen.
like, oh my gosh, this is who we got? But I,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jed was there when I was there as an offensive assistant. Obviously learned under one of the greatest offensive minds of all time, and I'm sure he's you know built that into the way he looks at offense and calls an offense and develops players. And the Jed I knew, I mean, heck, this was 25 years ago, was an even keeled guy, wasn't a you know fly off the handle hothead. So
Yeah.
we'll see if that works. If he's a guy that I'm sure we're considering him 100%. And I would be happy with that because like I said, he's not learning on the job at Florida. He's been at two big programs.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he's a Florida guy.
Yeah, right. And I don't think that has to be a prerequisite. I think it helps because you understand
Yeah.
kind of the fan base and the people that you're answering to and the expectations and not I think not that Billy and Brian Kelly didn't know that when they walked into these programs 3 or 4 years ago. They knew what they were signing up for. Everybody does.
Oh
You're
yeah,
coming to
they knew.
the SEC. I mean, there's no. I mean, I'm shocked that Mark Stoops hadn't been fired from Kentucky yet.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I have a feeling that I have a feeling for Florida right now. It seems like it's Kiffin or bust.
Oh,
I
And
100%.
think it
it,
should be.
you know,
Right.
and I think that y'all went through guys, trying to, the last few coaching searches, you went through different guys and you kind of got out of the mold of what made y'all successful, which was, Steve Spurrier, which was high flying offense. Kind of a guy with a personality, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And, the last few coaches y'all have had really didn't have much of a personality. And
Mm-mm.
Kiffin reminds me a lot of Spurrier in a way. He's not as polished about what he says, but he still has some funny things he says,
I don't know if
just
I would
like,
ever say Steve Spurrier was too polished on what he says, though. I
well,
think that's where
what
the
I,
similarities are
what I'm,
very similar, is they're both.
what I mean is, he, for a long time, Kiffin might kind of go out of the box to say something, whereas, Spurrier was just kind of quick witted, I guess I meant,
Yeah.
not necessarily polished, but, um, uh, anyway, I think that's for y'all. If I'm looking at it from a other opposing team perspective, I do not want Lane Kiffin going to
No,
Florida
there ain't
at
one
all because,
SEC coach
I
right now
mean,
that wants Lane in Florida.
No.
no, none of them. And so even the coach at Mississippi State don't want him to go to Florida. I'm telling you, um, and they're bitter rivals. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think from y'all's perspective, it's got to be somebody in that mold that's offensive minded, that comes in and has these high flying offenses that scores points. I mean, let's be honest. Y'all don't care if you win a game 38-35. If they're scoring 38 points a game
No,
every week and
we,
you're winning, who cares?
I've said
That's
multiple
what you're
times
used to. That's
we would rather almost lose a game 47-48 than win a game 10-9.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's about kind of where we sit and stand in those bleachers where, defense. Okay, well, you just brought up what about the guy at Mississippi State?
I was
Jeff
thinking
Levy. I
that when you
like
said
Levy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a young guy.
I
He's an
like him
offensive
a
guy.
lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's real flashy per se as far as his talk
Never
track
gonna do shit at Mississippi State.
but
Personality.
man,
Yeah. Do you go to that Mississippi State well again though? I mean, that's kind of like what LSU yesterday. I'm hearing reports that they're talking to Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, and I'm like,
Nah.
do we want to go back there? I mean,
uh,
he's basically he hasn't built anything. He's taken over what Kelly built. So do we want that here? I mean, personally, I don't. But I mean,
right.
Freeman's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. But
And do you think Freeman would follow Kelly again? That's another thing.
yeah,
From an
Hey,
ego
that's another.
standpoint,
you
pride.
Yeah,
give somebody 15 million reasons they might.
Well,
true.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's another thing we, kind of as we wrap up here. Like, I'm wondering when there's going to be a reset on these coaches' contracts because
All
there's
Yeah,
incentive
got
based with a little upfront.
yeah, there's got to be either the length has to be shortened
Yeah.
and or the incentives have to be extremely heightened, but some way somehow to to tie these guys into your program for years, multiple years after they have already unfortunately left a bad mark, and to have to basically pay for that. Hey, kudos to Sexton and the boys that you know created these contracts and handcuffed a university. I mean, not everybody has the oil money Texas A&M has to stroke a check for
Hmm.
75 and then to bring in a guy who's doing phenomenal. And I mean, as Danny Cannell has said over and over, and probably other people, like, tell me why A&M is not the number one team in the country. I
oh, they
want to
should
Right.
know.
be.
I mean, it's
Ohio State hadn't played
ridiculous.
anybody but
No, and
Texas.
it's like,
Yeah,
so, and I could even say, you tell me why A&M and Alabama aren't number one or number two. Like,
yeah,
somebody
Agreed.
explain that to me. But nonetheless, back on the subject is like, we've got as a collective group figure out we cannot let these coaches just hold us hostage and then the program suffer because now, granted,
And sit
the
back
coaches
3
and
years.
the agents could turn around and tell, well, make sure you hire the right guy first of all.
Yeah, true.
Like 4 years ago, Brian Kelly and LSU were in, honeymoon and love affair. So don't tell me so I get it. It's you got to pick, you always got to pick the right people. But man, it just seems like whoever, I don't know who the first school was that let these contracts fly, and then it just kind of became, well, this is the norm, and these buyouts and this and that. Like, I think the buyout should be like, hey, if you get fired, and I'm going to say for cause of like you suck, then you don't get another 50 million for sucking. Like, you got fired for cause because in your contract it said you had to win 80% of your ball games in order to get your buyout.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I don't know if that is or will ever happen. It probably won't. But as we, talked to our buddy at the Orlando Sentinel, I mean, it's like there ain't no reset coming anytime soon on coaches' contracts. I think there should
No.
be. How they do it, maybe they do it like the NFL did years back with the rookie salaries and the draft. They're like, basically, hey guys, highly
So
incentivize
think
the wins and the playoffs, and then a conference championship, 10 wins a year, whatever. But
think about this. So Jimmy Sexton has brokered what I'm reading here. Jimmy Sexton himself has brokered over $3 billion in contracts in college and professional sports. $3 billion.
Mhm.
Mm.
So let's just say he
what's
gets.
three what's hey
I
what's
mean,
three what's 3% of 3 billion, real quick, JD?
that's what I'm
'Cause that's what he gets.
Mm-hmm.
shit. That didn't work.
Well, 1% 30 million, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he's getting over 100 million for,
Or
if my math is right.
90 million,
Yeah.
3%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. 90 million.
hey, kudos to
So
him.
that's
Listen, I ain't hating on him.
I ain't hating on him either. I mean, oh my God. I mean, we're in the wrong business. Like that, all you gotta do is negotiate a contract. Like these guys are, I mean, it's
He
crazy.
is the
But
Scott Boras of
oh
college
yeah,
football for sure.
no doubt. No
No
doubt.
doubt.
Um, but I mean, I don't know. This whole landscape. I mean, who does Auburn hire? Like what? I mean, I think
Well,
Auburn's going to go after Summerall.
yeah.
Like I think Auburn's going to go after
Yeah.
Summerall. I think that who's Arkansas hired? Did they stay with Petrino?
Listen,
Do they get somebody else? I mean, like it's crazy to think. I mean, Penn State, like there's that job's still out there. I mean, Virginia Tech. ESPN just popped up on my phone that James Franklin's in negotiations with Virginia Tech. I mean, does South Carolina get rid of Shane Beamer? I mean,
yeah,
they've had
what
a
happened? I
terrible
saw
season,
Not
so
this year.
so Sellers is
and
out.
then
Is that the
Sellers is
truth?
leaving.
Did it, like,
Yeah.
that's confirmed, or has he openly said that, or what's the deal there? Is that
Uh,
just hearsay?
I
What was
mean,
your
I
question, Mike?
If Sellers is he really out? Has he said it
I
openly, or
read
is
that last night.
no? I know we
Yeah.
sent it around. I just didn't know if it was from the horse's mouth or more of kind of the hearsay. Hey, he's looking. He's starting to get That's the crazy thing is, these kids can all of a sudden, hey, get the agent
it
out
says
on the
it's a
Mm-hmm.
wire.
viral fake rumors. What Yahoo says.
Okay.
Okay.
You know,
Well, that's a good segue.
But
it's sure it's
it's
sure a
probably going to happen.
Let's talk about some of our key games here and wrap this put a bow on this thing.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the Tigers
We'll
got
go through
tonight?
some of these here. So it's actually at 11:45 a.m. Eastern. We were playing for the Battle of the Golden Boot versus the
Mm,
Arkansas Razorbacks.
okay.
The 2-7 Arkansas Razorbacks and the 5-4 LSU Tigers in Tiger Stadium. 11:45 a.m. Central Time on the SEC Network. LSU's favored by 4.5. Over and under of 57.5.
I'm gonna just to piss JD off because those Cajuns
No, don't
didn't.
even say it. I'm picking Arkansas. We suck. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I can't. I hate Arkansas. I can't
I'm,
pick them.
I'm picking the Razorbacks only because y'all didn't have enough time to get all wired up, and you're still, you know, drunk from last
Oh, they were
night. And
tailgating last night.
yeah, but
They're
I
good.
mean, you Cajun boys, they didn't get their boudin and their their what you call it, what's the soup? I can't think of it right now. The
Gumbo,
gum, they didn't get their
jambalaya.
gumbo. They didn't
Gumbo.
get, yeah, and they get, so I'm gonna pick Arkansas. Give me the backs. Throw it on a rock.
Okay.
So I'll
I,
tell you a funny story, Mike. Before Chance gives you his story or his picks, we were, I think it was 2000 or 2001. Chance's cousin was going to school at LSU, and we'd all went down there and stayed with him the night before one of the games, and I can't remember what game it was. And we'd stayed out all night long, and we got back at like 3 or 4 in the morning. He comes in
Florida
there.
game.
Yeah, was it Florida? Well, he
Mhm.
wakes us up at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock. It was a morning game. We gotta go. We gotta go. And so we're like, golly. So we get up and we go to the stadium and we get out there and his whole fraternity's there or whatever. And the first thing they do when we get there is pass around some Jim Beam whiskey. Okay, mind you, it's like 6:30 in the morning and we take the shot of this whiskey and I look around and there's probably 20 people throwing up.
Mm.
Like it is, it's everybody's trying to hunt the trash can, and it was like, so yeah, they start early, and I don't think that they're gonna have a problem being torqued up for the game. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just them Tigers, they probably just laying around yawning and just stretching like a bunch of fat cats like Garfield. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I doubt it.
hacking
I'm
up a
taking
hairball.
MVP or death here. I like LSU. Um, I think they're going to put it together. I think Van Buren's going to have a really solid game. I like LSU.
Chance, you done with your squats and your leg presses? And
I'm done, sir.
oh, okay. I just wanted
no
to see your
video.
beautiful. I
You
just
don't
want to
have
see your
any
beautiful
video,
face.
probably.
No,
Yeah,
you don't need to see that.
No,
I
I wanted
got
to
in
see
an
that.
altercation last night. No, I'm
yeah, no
joking.
altercation.
I'm
Fall
joking.
out the bed or what?
No,
Well, I was up under it.
he
I was
sleeps
up
under
Fell
his
in
under
the
it.
mama's
shower.
bed.
Like, yeah,
You can't
Yeah,
fall out of the bed if you sleep under your mama's
yeah,
bed.
Bobby
yeah. That's right.
Petrino had a motorcycle wreck.
Oh Lord.
I got a Sioux collar on right now.
All right, so I want to go to this one. South Carolina at A&M.
Mm.
Oh, they're gonna get
A&M is a
whipped.
17.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Buyer beware.
So
I'll
I'm
I'll
taking the Aggies.
I'll take the Aggies, but I'll
Um,
take the Gamecocks to cover though.
uh,
I agree with you there. Where is this game at, JD?
College
it's in
Station.
Aggie land
Yeah.
Okay. Is
because
it
A&M went to
tonight?
South Carolina last year and got beat.
Yeah, that's right. Is it tonight?
It is a 11 a.m. game, so it's coming on here
Really?
Ooh.
pretty soon.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Well, South Carolina will have a little little trouble adjusting to that. So I think South Carolina will cover, but well, no, I'm going A&M in the gas. I'm wagging my finger as I'm saying that, guys. But
Well,
give me
prove it.
A&M
Prove it,
in the
son.
gas.
Prove it.
yeah. Show us that finger wag.
A&M in the gas, babe.
Woo!
A&M in the
Look
gas.
at that. Look at that old school hat too, son. That's what I
He
wanted
looks
the
like a
folks to.
Miami fan, don't
I
he?
wanted the folks at home to see
Yes,
that old
sir.
school hat.
Where'd your gold chain at, Miami fan?
Well,
He's got the
if you
center.
know me at all, JD, you know that my number two rule in life is never trust a man wearing more than zero necklaces. So I will not
Mm,
have a chain on.
that is a great picture.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that is
guy.
a good background.
Yeah.
Done by
Um,
Judy Peterson Buckner, one of the greatest artists
what
of all
about
time.
here's another 11 a.m. ABC game. Number 9 Notre Dame, number 22 Pitt, both ranked 7-2. It's at Pitt. Notre Dame's a 12.5 point favorite at Pitt.
Mm. I always like Pitt. I mean, if it depends on do
Me
we have an
too.
idea what uniforms they're wearing today?
And that's
I hope
Cade
it's the
Bell.
old school blue and yellow.
But I mean, is it going to be more yellow than blue or more blue? Because that
I
that'll
bet more blue
that'll
than yellow.
be I might.
I'm going. I like Narduzzi. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I just think that I just like Pitt at home. Um, even though Notre Dame's a 12.5 point favorite, I'm picking Pitt to
I'm
win.
I'm
Me
I'm
too,
I'm in the
JD.
accord.
That's right.
I'm in the accord with you, JD.
Yeah, me too. Panther pride.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so let's keep scrolling down here. We're going to go to number 24, South Florida. Maybe a coach on y'all's radar there, old Alex
Yes, sir.
Golish.
Yes, sir.
24 ranked South Florida and is 7-2, and Navy at 7-2.
Mm,
Navy they were 7-0. Have they lost two in a row?
they have. This is a trap game.
Yeah. Yeah. South Florida is a 10.5 point favorite, and this game will be. Where does the Naval Academy play their games at?
They're at
Baltimore.
no, they're on. They have their own.
Okay.
Annapolis.
Hmm.
Maryland.
You
So
know,
10.5.
what's any idea what the temperature is up there in Annapolis right now? Because those Florida boys, I don't care what anybody says, we do not like playing in that type stuff. Cold, wet,
Correct.
windy. We don't.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't give me a game time temp or nothing like that on the app here. Oh, no. 54 degrees.
Oh, okay.
AccuWeather.
Oh hell.
That's okay.
Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, 11 a.m., 54 degrees.
They'll be all right. I'm gonna
Die bulls.
give me the Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah, give
Yeah.
me the Bulls too. All right.
Bullshit.
Keep on going down. We gotta get to some of these other ones. Here we go. Y'all gonna like this one. 10-0 Tennessee Tech playing at Kentucky, 4-5. Kentucky's a 21.5 point favorite over the undefeated Tennessee Tech, whatever their mascot is.
And who's the head
I
coach at
don't even
Tennessee
know.
Tech?
Couldn't tell you.
It's not Eddie George, right?
No.
Dude, I honestly do not know.
Where is he? Look it
Um,
up because Eddie George is.
look,
I don't think he's there. He's somewhere else in Tennessee.
hang on.
Watching these golfers out here putting.
We should heckle him, Chance.
Uh,
That's
they're-
what next time we have to do a business meeting, we should try to do it on a Saturday morning, and me, you, and JD will sit
yeah.
on your back porch. Have you seen some of
Oh,
those
have a
YouTube videos
heckle
where
hole.
the guy?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not Eddie George. Bobby Wilder. Bobby
Oh,
Wilder.
Oh,
never
Robert.
mind.
Okay.
Robert Wilder. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
old
old Robbie.
Rob.
Yeah, old Robbie. Yeah.
Yeah. Robbie.
Anyway, I just thought
Mama
that was
called him Bob
interesting.
for
We don't have to
short.
pick that. We don't have to pick that one. I was just thought that was interesting that an
Look, if they lose to
undefeated team
Tennessee
was going.
Tech, I would think Stoops would be packing his stuff up later that night. But
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
maybe.
Big 2:30 game on ABC. Number 11 OU 7-2 at number
Mm.
4 Alabama 8-1. Alabama is a 6.5 point favorite.
I
Mm.
don't want to, but I feel like
Venables.
eventually Alabama's got to, but maybe
They should
not.
have. We should have beat them last week. We had so many opportunities. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were ripe for an upset, and we just could not get our feet under us. And
And
yeah.
then you
Venables is
have.
going to watch that.
Oh yeah, I'm taking OU at Bama. I just think that
Yeah.
it's time. Bama's not as advertised. They've had some good games, but then they'll have a terrible game. Um,
They
I'm
are
going with OU
undefeated
to pull the
on an
upset.
eight game winning streak. So I mean, they're
True.
fine. I feel like Mateer's not back yet. Maybe came back too soon. I'm gonna stick with Bama,
All right. Chance.
but
I'm going to
OU
take
cover.
OU. I'm going to take. I'm going to take OU to cover for sure.
Okay.
With Venables, and it's in Norman.
No,
No, it
it's
was
in
Norman
Tus.
last year. It's in
It's
it's in
Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa.
Uh,
Oh, here we
well,
go.
better take Bama to win. OU to cover then.
All right. Let's go. Let's see. What's this next one? Number 21, Iowa, 6-3, and playing at USC, 7-2. USC's been playing good defense lately.
Mhm.
What about that?
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
yeah.
Another one
and
Lincoln
I'd take,
USC's
Riley's
Lincoln
name
Riley.
keeps
six-and-a-half-point
I'd
favorite.
take him as a coach.
Yep.
Lincoln Riley names keeps kind of popping up in some of the
Yep,
what do they call
I'd
them,
take him.
what do they call those chat rooms, like, when the CIA talk, like not the interwebs, but like the dark web or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
like when people are,
I
it's like the pirate, the ransomware people, like they
Yeah.
have their own little
yeah.
underworld.
Spyware.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd take
he's on
Lincoln
my
there,
vision board. Yeah, I'd take him.
but
Okay. All right, I'm going with y'all. I'm going with USC. I'm taking the Trojans. Dun,
well,
dun,
let's go
dun,
with the
dun,
only
dun,
last
dun,
game
dun.
that matters, and that's the greatest
We're
logo
getting
ever.
there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling. I got to get to.
Who's well, real quick, who's Indiana got? Who do they have?
Uh, it might be off this week.
Little Sisters of the Poor.
The
No,
the the
I
cra-
don't
the,
have a Indiana
the
game.
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, pack a
Yeah, I'm not
bag.
showing one. Let's do this. Let's
Hey
go
JD, how funny
to.
would it be if Chance slipped and fell in that pool right now?
Oh, I would
Well,
laugh. I
all
would. I
my
would.
phone wear would be gone, but I wouldn't care. I've already cold plunged this morning. I could take it again.
Chance,
All
we'll
right.
give you
Two.
$1,000 if you set your phone up. You do a cannonball right now in that pool.
I might. I dang sure might.
No, you
Did
won't.
he
Will
You're
just
it
say a
help
scared.
get
thousand dollars?
viewers?
You won't do it.
Shit, I will.
JD, no, JD,
He
tell
ain't
me
gonna do it.
he ain't gonna do it. How about this?
No,
Let's
he
just
won't
do
do
the
it.
last game and see if you're you're gonna do it when we talk
All
about
right.
the Gators.
All right. All right.
We're gonna leave that one for y'all for Ian. All right, next one, number 10, Texas, 7-2. Number 5, Georgia, 8-1. The game's at Georgia. Georgia's 6.5-point favorite. I'm going with
I,
the dogs
I'm dogs, yeah.
all the way.
But it is crazy how
Yeah.
the Longhorns have turned it around and snuck back into the playoffs.
Yep, I
Until
know it
they meet
in the talk.
Kirby, this will end their playoff push. Bye bye.
Yeah.
The 3-6 Florida Gators at
Mm,
9-1 Ole Miss.
mm.
Ole Miss ranked number 7. This is the last game, really. I mean, Ole Miss has got Mississippi State, but that's going to be a tough one. But and that could ruin their season too. But big game. Ole Miss is favored 11.5 in Oxford. Over and under 52.5.
Give me the Gators, Gators, Gators. Ride it on a rock. We're
Gators,
upsetting it,
Gators, Gators.
Right with
and
you.
it's
Yep.
I'm
and
with you.
and
I,
and and I think it's best that we do that so Lane can go ahead and sign his new contract.
yeah.
I
I've
think
been
that the
saying
players have
that.
packed it in. Players have packed it in. They're not putting that little bit more effort that you would when you're winning. I think Ole Miss handles business.
See, here's where you're wrong,
Lane
JD.
Kiffin
JD, here's where you're
Lane
wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Kiffin is going to put on an offensive clinic today
Mm-mm.
because he wants
No.
to make more money.
JD,
Whoever,
when
whoever, whoever can pay him the most, he's putting on an offensive clinic today.
Nah.
JD, have you ever been in a work situation where either your current director boss is getting a promotion and then a new guy's coming in, and either you're not sure who the new guy is, but there's rumors about who the new guy is, and then you and your crew and your buddies all say, man, we better ratchet up how we do things because the new guy, he's taking notes. That's where I think you're wrong. The Gators are not going to lay down today because them
Okay.
boys know,
Yep.
hey, our next head
Yep.
coach could be standing right across the other 52.5 yard sideline and taking
Mm-hmm.
mental
Mm-hmm.
notes of this kid quit on me, this kid quit. So that's
Yep.
where the Gators are going to come and shine today, buddy. So take that and ride
Just
on a rock.
because you picked Arkansas, I think you're dead wrong. Ole Miss is fixing to blow Florida out, blow
No.
Mm-mm.
y'all out.
Telling
No,
you right now, buddy.
sir. There won't be
Nope.
22,000 people there. Lane can't even
Well,
get people to come in the
I can't
gates.
help that. That's probably why he's going to go to Florida.
And
They can't
Chance
even
is
I,
fill
I,
up the
and
stadium
Chance is
during
doing a
the.
cannonball just to prove how these Gators are about to
He
yep.
work them.
I'm about to. I got
he
to set
don't
this
have a
phone
hair
up
on
right.
his ass if he don't
Okay.
jump in that pool.
He
Oh,
ain't
okay
gonna do
then.
it. He ain't gonna do
He
it.
ain't gonna do it.
He ain't gonna do it. He
Can
don't
y'all
want to get the
see?
viewership and
No,
the followers
Are
up.
y'all able
No,
to
we
see?
cannot. We can only see your.
no.
We can
All
only
we
see
see is
your
the
is
the ceiling.
the.
Better?
He ain't gonna do
Guys,
it.
I'm limited
JD, he
here
ain't
on
gonna do it.
space.
He ain't gonna do it.
Let's see here. If I get it down here, can you see it?
You
Or
you
can
had
you
it
Well, I
see
better
it?
mean,
the other way. The other way you had it on that
Yeah.
table or whatever you had. He
he
ain't
took
gonna
the
do it.
video off now, Mike. He's
Right.
going,
No,
my
I'm
video
back.
ain't working. My video don't work.
No. No, you hold on. Hold on just a second. Here I
He ain't
come,
gonna do it.
boys. All right, I'm back.
No, he ain't.
I am going to do it. Let me set this thing up. And I'm trying to be courteous of my golfers over there trying to putt right now.
I
Can
don't
you?
No.
care about them
Oh,
golfers.
now
All right,
we can
there
see
we
the
go.
pool
Let's
now.
see what you
Let's
got.
see this. He ain't gonna
I
do
want,
it.
I want a, I want a full cannonball.
All right, it's coming. Let me clap it out for these guys whenever they putt here.
He ain't gonna
And
do it.
then
He's sitting here.
I'm gonna blow the balls off of this thing here, son.
Uh, no way he's doing it. Cause it's been cold up there too, right? That probably a
Yeah,
good balmy
it
68.
was. Yeah, it was 26 the other morning.
Ain't no way he ain't doing
Just
it.
hold on, boys.
What are we waiting on here? Like I
I'm
mean,
You ain't gonna disturb
waiting
them
on the
guys
golfers.
putting.
Yeah,
Who
come
cares
on, have a
about
little
them
etiquette,
jokers?
Jade. Have a
I ain't
little
worried
etiquette.
about them putters. Ain't nothing etiquette. You're not playing golf. You're at
Yeah,
home. They're playing around your house.
I agree, but
they're gonna say, "Look at this dumb Gator fan jumping in the water."
I
Yeah,
get
what is
ready,
wrong
boys.
with this guy?
Get ready.
Oh no, turn it back to the left, partner.
This way.
Yes, sir.
Can
Yeah,
y'all see?
perfect. We could
Yeah,
see
we can
it.
see
You
that.
hurry up and not do this. Look at
Here
him.
we go.
He ain't doing it. He ain't doing
He
it.
ain't gonna do it. He's scored.
Oh, boys. Watch
Look, he'll
this.
probably just.
He said, "Watch this." He did that.
Woo.
You
How,
heard him say, "Woo!"
how cold is it?
It's not.
Oh God!
I told you I cold plunged this morning, so it ain't bad.
Oh
I'm a
my
man. I'm
gosh, buddy.
45, son.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Ugh.
The
Well, on that
podcast.
note,
Hey, check us out. Yeah, boy. Go
Chance.
Gators.
On that
Go
note,
Gators.
we strive for
Wrap
we
it up.
strive for perfection and do what, Chance?
Settle for excellence and
Straight in, buddy.
championships.
Thanks, guys. Jumping off sides, episode 51. We'll see y'all next week.
Oh, thanks. Oh, great American killer. Coming at you.
Prayers installed, and before we all went piling out. All you gotta do is block that guy. Your job ain't that hard. So just don't make it hard. That's fair, coach. I got you.
Now, from Suite 11 at Louisiana Downs Casino and Racetrack in some basement in rural Central Florida, it's the Jumpin' Offsides Podcast Network. Here's your host, Chance, JD, and Mike.